All right. We are live on YouTube, and we have the Zoom office hours as well. Let me give you a very brief introduction about myself and about August Academy, and then we can leave the floor open for questions. So about myself, my name is Karthik. I've interacted with, I think, almost all of you, and I'm an alumnus of IIT Madras and Stanford. I worked in the automotive sector. I'm an aerospace automotive type engineer. And then I used to work for General Motors, got to the point where, corporate life felt very stifling, and I felt I couldn't grow beyond a certain point. And that is when I started exploring MBA options. I got a 770 on the GMAT. I got into Stanford's exec MBA program. I already had a PhD from Stanford. This would have been my second degree. I couldn't take it up due to a few reasons. But the same month that I got in, which was January 2013, that is when I got the news from Stanford. The same month I started August Academy. So since Jan 2013, it's been 9.5 years right now. And we've been very fortunate. We've worked with a lot of very good students, and we've had extremely good results. Students have gotten into schools in the top 20 worldwide. So this includes Harvard, Chicago Booth, Kellogg, MIT, Darden, Tuck, Ross, you name it, Columbia. Within Europe, definitely all the top 5: London Business School, INSEAD, IMD, Oxford, Cambridge, HEC. That's 6. And in Asia, NUS, NTU, HKUST, SEEBS. And within India, finally, we've had people getting into ISB and IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata. These are the exec programs, right? So very fortunate. These are the best schools in all these territories, and our students have gotten into all of these programs. And not just getting into these programs, our students also received about $1 million in scholarships every year. So about 7 crores in scholarships, 8 crores now, right? So about 8 crores in scholarships per year. So if you just add it up cumulatively, I think we would have crossed around 60, 70 crores in scholarships so far. We are not done. We want to continue impacting people. And we can help you also that, right? So let me know. Yeah, I think there was a temporary internet glitch, but I'm back. So I'm opening the floor for questions. Please ask me whatever is on your mind. Can people hear me?
Hey, Karthik, can you hear me?
Yes, Niyati, absolutely. Go for it.
So, Karthik, just to give you like a brief background of where I'm coming from, I have been into marketing for about 9 years. And I just recently took the GRE exam and I scored pretty low, which is about 300, right? Like in my GRE exam. And the target geographies that I want to get into is primarily UK, Europe, or Singapore. Right. And I have a fair bit of understanding of the kind of schools and the requirements that they have. So do you suggest that I can apply into, say, the likes of IE, ESCP, or LBS?
Oh, what were the programs? Come again?
I want to get into MBA programs, right? Like,
no, that part, the colleges.
I said IE Business School, which is in Spain, ESCP.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Or LBS.
ESCP, okay. ESCP is which one again?
I think the main campus is in France, but then it has centers in London as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it expand to something?
Expand into something? I could not get you.
Like ISB is Indian School of Business. Is ESCP something like that?
No. It's just the name ESCP itself. It doesn't really I can just
Okay.
maybe
All
show
right.
it.
All right. Yeah. Uh,
European business school, basically. Yeah.
okay. Got it. Got it. Yeah. I'm not very familiar with this program,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not sure what the entry requirements are. The other two programs, you will need at least three. For IESA, you will need at least a 322 or something. For
Mm-hmm.
London Business School, maybe even a 328, 329. So those would be the basic requirements. This is for the MBA program. There could be some specialized executive master's programs or certification programs. So if you know exactly what you want to do with your management degree, then
Mm-hmm.
and you are reasonably sure about what kind of brand of school you want to get into, then instead of an MBA, I would encourage you to explore alternative certification pathways.
Okay. So you mean to say like get into like an executive program, which is maybe like, which can give you like a certificate, but it would not be like, how should
It
I
won't
put
be
it?
an MBA. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is if you're concerned about these schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're open to a larger universe of schools, then yeah, definitely you can look at MBAs in other schools as well.
Got it. And I mean, what would be your suggestion in terms of like, considering my background, my I've done BTech in my graduation, right? Like, and I scored like a 70% there. So what do you think? Like, where is it that I can fit the bill basically with the current score?
GRE wise, I actually don't know, right? I mean, see, within Europe, we've considered applications to programs in the top 10, and we've not done very many programs outside of the top 10 in Europe. So my knowledge on that is very limited. If you're looking at US programs, then you may be able to look at some colleges ranked in the 100 to 120 range. That is something that I can tell you. In Europe, I'm not even sure what colleges would be there.
Got it. And do you
Like this
suggest like
ESCP, I haven't worked with that before, but you can check the requirements. If in general, if their average GMAT is around 30 to 40 points less than what you currently have on the GMAT scale, and equivalently on the GRE scale, if your average GRE is about 5 to 8 points less than what you have, then I think you have a good shot. That's how you should consider programs.
got it. Got it.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we can move on to somebody else's questions. Yeah. Hi, Rajesh.
So hi Karthik, I have already spoken with you for in the 2 days before I think. So my
I
primary
think so.
question is,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. I recently gave my GMAT and I scored 740, and I have a work experience
Okay.
of around 4.5, and currently I'm
Okay.
associated with Amazon and into operations. So how
Okay.
feasible it is for me to think to apply to R2, and the only primary location I'm looking for is US, and
Okay.
I'm also open to the top 20. I'm just not limiting my options to the top 10 universities, because I only have an MBA from tier 2 college.
Okay.
So if I start immediately, like in a day or 2 days, is it feasible for me to get my applications ready? By applications I mean everything that comes after the GMAT, like my essays, my LORs, my transcripts, etc. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think it's a little bit of a squeeze, but we can definitely try our best. So your plans are reasonable. A top 20 program should work out for you. So try to get started at the earliest, and definitely, we can try to squeeze in some applications. But the more you delay, the more difficult it is going to become to put in like 5 applications.
Okay, Karthik, and also just an add-on, can you give us a brief introduction on how your program works for the application and what would be the weightage for the essays specifically?
Sure. Can I will give some insight into how our program works. Maybe can I just take questions from everybody first and then talk about it? Is that okay?
Yes, yes, please. Sure, definitely.
Because I think that part will be common for everybody. With regards to weightage for essays, see, that question I can answer right now. The essays are important, but they're not super important. Okay. What I mean by that is, first of all, the essay, you're not going to write anything creative and get in. Okay. That's not going to happen at all. So if you have that kind of a fantasy, the first thing I want you to do is to forget that fantasy. Okay. An essay is at best a reflection of your life experiences. So the way to look at it is, if you've had an interesting life, you will have a good essay. How we write it, we'll take care of it. Okay. But if you had a normal life, then you'll have a normal essay. Okay. So that is something that you need to anchor in your mind very firmly, right? There is no like Wordsworth or Arundhati Roy or Chetan Bhagat type writing, which will like get you into your target school just based on the power of the words alone, if the profile is otherwise boring. Okay. So that's something for you to keep in mind. A good essay will put you in contention for the seat, meaning it will put you, you will be able to explain your background properly, and then you will be considered properly for the seat. Just like a few other people will also be considered. And if you are found to be better than others, after the interviews and all are done, you will be selected. Okay. So a good essay is not going to get you in, but a good essay will put you in contention. That's a good thing. Okay. A bad essay will keep you out of contention. That much I can guarantee you. All right. What do I mean by bad essay? You may have had average experiences, good experience, whatever it is, but you're not communicating it properly. Okay. So if you're not able to communicate what you've done, then it doesn't matter what you've done, essentially, right? So that is what we mean by a bad essay, and that will keep you out of contention. Okay. So avoid writing bad essays, but don't think a good essay will automatically get you into Harvard. Okay. So, I have to explain this to people properly because there's been a lot of marketing out there about MBA essays and all that. You need to know exactly how influential the essay is in your admissions process. Is that okay, Rajesh?
Yeah, Karthik, sure. I'm just listening to you.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. I have a question on chat, Santosh. I will answer that first and then I'll get back to you. Yug has a question. Hi, just graduated with a degree in commerce. Looking to get into an MBA program 3 years down the line. Can I build my profile from scratch? I think that's a very exciting question to ask Yug. And the answer is reasonably yes. Please get in touch with us after Jan 15 or so, and definitely happy to brainstorm options with you. We can look at what are the different companies you have offers from, and then figure out like which one would be the best for you to take up, and so on and so forth. Does that sound okay? Yeah, I'm assuming that's
could you just repeat whatever I said? Like, I'm getting noises back. So could you?
Okay, what I said was, please reach out after Jan 15 or so, and then we can discuss how we can build your profile from scratch.
Okay, got it. Jan 15.
Sure. Jan 15, yes. Yeah. So,
isn't that
Jan
a long
15,
time? Like,
no, right now we are busy with our R2 applicants, and
okay.
so our time is we always find ourselves in a situation where we don't have enough time to address everybody's queries.
I completely
right?
understand.
So we have to prioritize a little bit. So the urgent and important criteria right now is anybody who's looking at R2, right?
Okay. Sure.
The even more urgent and important criteria is anybody who's looking at R1 interviews right now. So then R2 candidates and then future candidates. Okay.
Right. Yeah, but I just wanted to know, okay, if I start building a profile like from starting now, could I make it into a good uni? That's what my question is.
Within certain limits, yes. Yeah, it all depends on where you're coming from. What I mean is, if you're graduating out of IIT Delhi, then yes, you can get a job at McKinsey. But if you're graduating out of a second-tier engineering college, then McKinsey is out of reach, right? Now, the moment McKinsey becomes out of reach and you're looking at a second tier kind of company, most probably a top 5 college will also go out of reach, right? So, within limits, you can always punch at the best level possible for wherever you are coming from. Whatever is in your past, you cannot change, but you can build up on it, and whatever is available in the future, you can ensure that you are getting into the best possible place. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So,
All right, you please reach out at that time, and then we can definitely have a conversation. All right. I think I had to take a question from Santosh. Santosh, go for it.
Hi, Karthik. So
Yeah.
I had applied to Darden in the early action round, and I've received an admit with a very good scholarship. But
Very good.
the deadline to submit the first deposit is November 28th, whereas
Okay.
the results of the other colleges which I've applied are in December first week. So there's a
Okay.
10-day delay. So
Okay.
my interviews with Yale and Tuck have gone very well. So if I have
Okay.
to make an informed choice, is it okay to mail these other colleges to release my result in advance? I mean, is that a norm? Is that something that's been done before?
See, I mean, the point is you can always ask a question as long as you're asking a question politely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they say no, then you have to be okay with it. That's about it. I mean, I don't think people are going to be offended for you asking that question. And you should also not be offended if they say no.
Okay.
And if they give you a clear-cut answer, then that's better for you.
Yes, Karthik. And a follow-up question. I mean, if my post-MBA goal is product management or consulting,
Okay.
how would you rank these set of colleges? Yale, SOM, Duke Fuqua, Cornell, Darden, and Tuck.
They're all roughly about the same, I would say. So I wouldn't be able to say one is better than the other. They're all great schools, so you wouldn't go wrong, regardless of where you end up studying. In general, the bias is any school which has a good engineering or a computer science program may be better of the 5 that you listed out. And for me, that means Cornell. Right? Yale is just a university, not necessarily known for engineering. Darden also, they may have engineering schools, but they're not like regarded highly or something. Dartmouth, I think, is slightly better regarded. Duke is definitely regarded. So Cornell maybe have the best engineering school of the lot, I think.
But why this bias for engineering? Popular universities, Karthik? I mean, what is the reasoning?
No. I mean, product management is a department that is at the intersection of business and engineering, right? So the reasoning is, if you have good business schools and good engineering schools, that would be the best way to choose from the 5 that you have listed out, which are all already good anyway.
Okay, understood. Okay, then I'll maybe shoot them a mail, and if I get a response from them, I'll be able to make a more informed choice.
Sure. What is your background, Santosh?
I've done my engineering in electronics and communication, and I have 3 years of work experience.
Okay, from which college? What kind?
I've done my engineering from RV College in Bangalore, and post that I've been working for 3 years in a software company, and I had given my GMAT a couple of months back, and I got 750. Yeah, that's about my background.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't get the name of the company properly.
I am working at Citrix as a software developer.
Okay, great. Very good results. I'm very happy for you, and I hope that you are able to make a good choice without getting into any tense situation. Yeah.
Thanks, Karthik. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Santosh. Yeah. All right, I have a question that comes on chat. How much weightage to B schools can give to AWA and IR? At this point, not too much. So if you have a good GMAT score, other than that, just go for it. Then what are your normal working days? Will you be available on Saturday and Sunday? you would like to have some family time as well. So unless it's absolutely critical, I wouldn't want to meet on Saturday or Sunday. I do end up facing critical situations every now and then, but then one thing I very clearly tell my candidates, whoever is approaching me as a prospective applicant, is I will not make the commitment to you that I will meet with you only on Saturdays or Sundays, because, then, see, I mean, I do work on Saturdays and Sundays every now and then, but then I want to open up my calendar to everybody, not just to one person, right? So I would need some flexibility. The way I would ask you to think about this is when you go to a bank or when you go to a hospital, right? You would get an appointment and then you would go at a time that works for the doctor, right? And just think of it the same way. And I understand that this may not be like easy for you, but a lot of our candidates do manage to take some time off, even if they are at office. They manage to find like a good meeting room or something, and then they take the call from there. And then a lot of work is done offline, right? There's a lot of asynchronous work. You'll send me your essay drafts, and then I'll send you my corrections. So it doesn't matter when you work. It doesn't matter when I work. You will send it when you have time. I'll send it back when I have time, right? So that is not about meeting necessarily. So that is something that happens around the clock. It's only for meetings that this may be a concern for you, but there, even though I understand your concern, that's the best answer I can give. I have 7.4 years of work experience in project management. Should I take the 1 year program or 2 years program? I think it doesn't matter. Sometimes the choice is automatically made for you. If you want to study in Europe, then most programs are closer to 1 year than 2 years. If you want to study in the US, then most programs are 2 years by default. So, if you have a fondness for one territory or the other, then the choice is automatically made. In case you are able to find both the 1 year option and the 2 year option within the same territory, and you are really finding it difficult to choose between them, then maybe you can go for the 1 year, especially if you have prior management experience. All right. Does anybody have any other questions?
Hi, Karthik. Rahul this side.
Yes, Rahul. Yeah.
So you might have already gone through my profile. If not,
yeah, please explain. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for the session. Actually, I have a GMAT 710.
Okay.
I had applied to Duke and Oxford already. Duke for R1 and Oxford in R2. For Duke, they have already denied.
Okay.
Oxford, I'm waiting for the response. These two applications.
Duke, they had that interview, cryptic email that went out after the
interview,
correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And what was your email? What was the text of your email?
Same. So it doesn't say that you have been rejected, but it says somewhere, I think in December, they'll be able to confirm that whether I'm rejected.
So don't read too much into that. That email wasn't a reject.
Okay.
That email was just not like a invitation to invite. I mean, it's not a positive thing for sure, but it's not negative at this point yet. It could end up in a wait list also.
Okay. So no, but so most of the candidates have received only 2 mails. So either you are getting invited or the other email. So do you have any information like someone who has got reject email also?
No, not to the best of my memory, no. But see, I mean, it's not like we have lots of applicants applying, right? I mean, I get my news from people like you only.
Okay.
We probably put in like 2 applications to Duke or something. So it's not like I have a lot of data also.
Okay. No, I've checked on GMAT Club as well. So
okay.
Only 2. Yes. So that's what I was skeptical as. Then I already have a 7+ years of experience. So most of it in business. So starting from sales, marketing, then I'm currently leading a team of 8 as a business development manager. I had 4 promotions out of these 7 years. So I've been associated with only one organization. So initially when this Boimer Group, actually, when it came into India, it was expanding. We were around 20-30 people doing a business of around 50-60 crores. Now now we're doing it close to 1,000 crores. So we have grown a lot. My responsibility as well. So that's what
Okay.
I am now looking to do, an MBA, 2 year, 1 year. That is not a choice I need to make. So I'm comfortable with both of them. Just wanted to know which school I should be looking at again in R2.
See, I mean, if you look at US programs, then with a 710, maybe like a program ranked around 18 to 30. Now, for persons with average profiles, I would recommend 25 to 35. You seem to have done some very good work, and US News rankings, right?
Okay.
So you seem to have done good work. So I think we can position you slightly better. I mean, of course, I need to see the intricate details of your profile to comment with authority. But based on whatever you're telling me, you seem to have a good background. So I think we can push you slightly up compared to somebody else with a 710.
How about European programs like INSEAD? I really want to
See,
get into
INSEAD,
management.
you need a lot of international experience, right?
So I do have like not in terms of visiting there. So I had 2-3 chances. So all two had a implication due to COVID. I have traveled personally. So it's like on a daily basis, or if weekly I have to accumulate, I interact with around 5-6 other group companies as well. So Germany, China, Thailand, Indonesia, Czech. So it happens.
Okay. See, you can apply and see.
Hello.
But the kind of experience you talk about, a good number of people have similar experiences, right? And from that point of view, it may not be a differentiator, but you can definitely apply. I mean, at the end of the day, the AdCom makes the call, and we shouldn't get in the way of that. So, I think the odds may be low, and this may not be considered a differentiator with regards to international experience, but it is within your purview to decide to apply or not. Rahul, with me? Hello.
I guess he dropped off.
Yeah, I think. So anyway, assuming there are no more questions, I'm going to come back to Rajesh's question, which is about how our interview prep process is going to be. I think Rahul's back now.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, maybe my internet was weak.
Okay, all right.
Explaining, Karthik.
Yeah, so I was just saying the experience may not be considered a differentiator with regards to working with international teams, because I think almost everybody works with international teams nowadays. Okay. So what is applicable for you is applicable for everybody, and vice versa. But having said that, it is your prerogative to apply, right? And they are the decision makers. So I cannot necessarily discourage you to apply or anything. I mean, that is not a very nice thing for me to do. I can only give you some indication of the odds and let you choose, right? To me, it seems like the odds may not be very favorable, but definitely the odds are not zero, right? So there are surprises that happen all the time. Yeah.
And the HEC?
HEC also the same thing. I mean, not regards to international experience, but HEC has just become unreasonably difficult nowadays. I don't know, the college, it's not worth the competition it is getting. I mean, with caveats, it's a very good college, right? And I'm on the record right now. But yeah, I mean, nowadays, I think without a 740, 750, you can't even think of HEC. Yeah. All right. Now, yes, Santosh is dropping out right now. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Santosh. All right, I think I'm going to take Rajesh's question and answer another question that was put up in a private message at the same time, which is what is our interview process like? So I'll just give you an
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll give you an overview of our entire application process, right from the initial steps all the way up to interview preparation, right? The first thing we do when you get started with us is I try to get some sense into your background, right? And the way I do it is I ask you certain questions in written format and I ask you to write answers to them. People usually take about 15 days for it. If you took 15 days for it, we would be left with very little time for the rest of the formalities, right? Given the time crunch we face. So today is the 31st of October. So I would be happy if we can finish this by the 7th of November, right? So assuming we get started in the next day or two, finish up the initial process by the 7th of November. The next step would be to review this content and then based on that, decide on an appropriate shortlist. So maybe we try to finish this by the 15th of November latest. Okay, so that's the first part of the process. The second part of the process is where we work on your application material together. And that is three things: the resume, the letters of recommendation, and most importantly, the essays, right? Now, the way we do this is we will set up a brainstorming call. It'll be on Zoom. It'll be a private call, and it'll usually be for 1 hour. Goes on a little bit beyond the hour. We will discuss your life stories, whatever you've shared with us so far, and then I will help you structure some of these stories in response to the questions that have been asked. Like Yale had that commitment question, or ISB had a values question, or let us say Duke had a 25 things question, or Cornell had some back of the envelope or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, I think Stern had this Pick 6 essay, right? So based on this, how do you creatively structure a response to these questions, right? So I'll help you put down a bullet point list, right? That will be the structure. Now, if you develop an essay based on that bullet point structure, you should be in good shape. Then you will send me the draft in written format. And my turnaround time is 2 to 3 days. I will get back to you with my comments on how you can improve this. And then you send me another draft, back and forth till you get it right. So this is the process. In our comprehensive package, we have a limit of 1 brainstorming call per college. In our ultra package, we don't have any limits, but there's a soft limit. If we have a call today, the next call can only be 7 days from now, right? So it's a separation clause because we have to slot a few other candidates in the middle as well, right? Now, apart from that, there's no limit on this ultra package. Everything else is the same. Okay, all the terms are the same. My turnaround time is the same. The hours of conversation, that will be the same. Everything else is the same. Okay. So the next part, is we'll work on the LORs, we'll work on the resume, and then we'll move on to the second school, third school, fourth school, so on and so forth. Now, in an ideal scenario, I would want to take about 15 days for college 1. That puts us towards the end of November, and then about 12 days for college after that. So that means 36 days. Jan 6th, we finish 4th college. And somewhere around Jan 15th, we'll finish 5th college. So this is our round 2 plan, assuming one of the colleges will have a slightly later deadline. Yeah. Even this is compressed from a normal process, which takes around 3.5 months, just in terms of timelines. Okay. Can we optimize this? We will see how to do that. And, we'll have like a one-on-one conversation. Depends on what schools you're applying to and how much commonality there is in the essays from one school to another. The bigger the commonality, the faster you can get things done. If the number of essays is a lot and the commonality is also very little, like IESA and let us say INSEAD, the commonality is not much, right? So then you'll actually have to spend a lot of time on both these colleges, right? So we'll see. It all depends on the choice of colleges. Now, after this is over, the next step is, of course, the interview process. And what happens at this point is, first I'll offer you 2 videos for you to peruse. These are about an hour each, and I'll give you an overview of the process. And then after that, I will give you a questionnaire. And what happens with the questionnaire is, there's a list of frequently asked questions which you will use to prepare. And then post that, we will have 2 mock interviews. I will have like a grilling session with you, and then I will provide you with feedback on how you performed. Okay. both in terms of overall story strategy and also in terms of individual questions, how can they be better? So I can give you feedback on both. Of course, if we have worked together for the entire application process, then this overall story strategy, we would have nailed it by the time we get to the interview itself. So this overall story strategy problem comes up only if you're coming to us at the interview stage. Right? So I'll give you feedback on that. Okay. Now, again, on the topic of interviews, in our 3-school comprehensive package, interview prep is not there by default. We charge separately for it. In our 5-school comprehensive package, it's there by default. In our 5-school ultra package, it is there by default. And we recently introduced a 3-school ultra package, and the interview prep is also there by default. So this is the different packages that we have. In terms of pricing, I may have already sent you guys a spreadsheet. In case I haven't, please ask me and I will be happy to forward it to you. The 3-school comprehensive, we charge 1,95,000 plus GST without the interview. The interview is 25K plus GST extra. GST is 18%. The 5-school package, we charge 250 plus GST. 5-school comprehensive, that is. The 5-school ultra, we charge 340 plus GST. Again, this includes shortlisting, interview, everything. The only thing that may not be there in the spreadsheet that I sent you, which you can make a note of right now, is the 3-school ultra, because that's a very recent package and the spreadsheet is about 15 months old. For the 3-school ultra, we charge 3,75,000 plus, sorry, 2,75,000 plus GST. Right? Yeah. So those are the packages and that's the pricing. And hopefully I've answered your question about the interview prep process also. Is there any other question I can help anybody with?
Hi Karthik, thank you for the brief explanation. So initially you said that there are 3 categories which you would be concentrating once we enroll with you. That is the essays, LORs, and what was the other one you mentioned?
The resume.
Okay, so you'll be during the brainstorming session itself, you'll be having a look at the resume and
the resume, we may look at it offline. But
okay.
The point is, at every step, I would say, hey, this information is interesting and important, so you should add it to your resume. You know, those kinds of comments I would be giving you at every session, right? And the editing of the resume, we'll do it offline.
Achha, okay, and also the essays also will be drafting based on the college requirements as well. We are not using one essay, one SOP, or the essay for the multiple colleges, right? For multiple.
No, we will be taking it up on a college by college basis. Sometimes what happens is if the topics are very similar, then some content will overlap. So that is very normal. But if the topics are not similar, then the content will be absolutely new.
Okay, Karthik, thank you so much.
Any other questions?
I got one question, like how do you
Yes, Rahul.
getting benefited out of AIGAC? You are being a member of that.
Okay, definitely, yes. So the first thing is I am part of the conference committee as well. And anyway, even if I were not part of the conference committee, what would happen is I would attend the conference every year. So I get to interact with the college admissions directors, and then I get to understand what their latest thought process is. So that is definitely a very valuable help for me. Other than that, there's a brand signal. Getting into AIGAC is very tough. Only a handful of consultants from India are members of AIGAC. Not to say that the others haven't applied for membership. I think a good number of people have applied, but not many have been selected. They select only after a rigorous check of process and ethical standards and results and testimonials and all that. So I think that's validation also. Maybe the candidates don't know that, but for me personally, I consider it to be like an immense validation. So these are 2 of the benefits. I visited about 10 campuses in the US so far. In 2018, I went to Rotman, which is not in the US, but it was part of my US trip. I went to University of Toronto Rotman, and then I followed it up by visiting University of Michigan Ross, Kellogg, Chicago Booth, and McCombs. Then in the second year, which is 2019, I visited Vanderbilt Owen, Darden, Duke Fuqua, UNC Kinnan Flagler, and there was one other premium school, like a top 12, top 15 school. I forget. I mean, I have to look at my records for that, I think. So 10 campuses I visited. 2020, I was supposed to go to Barcelona, Spain. But, as we all know, that didn't happen. There was no room for that. Next year, we are visiting the US again. Most likely, it's going to be a few schools in the Northeast territory, maybe like Harvard or Yale or something like that. So the details are being worked out. So these are some of the benefits. Any other questions?
Okay. I mean, you said there is a separation gap of 7 days, I think, is for the brainstorming session.
What do you mean by separation gap? Oh, for the
You
ultra.
said that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Between two calls. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So can we reach out to you on a call in between?
No. The separation gap is for the call, but you can definitely reach out to me over email and our task management platforms and all that. So we are not limiting communication. We are just limiting communication over like a spoken channel.
Do you use a platform like you are saying now?
Yeah, we use a platform. Yes.
Okay. Oh, like how that works?
I mean, for all practical purposes, you can assume that it's like a signaling system. So think of it as you email me that you want an appointment or something like that, and then I'll set up an appointment when possible. Or think of me as emailing me to ask a question. Hey Karthik, this is the doubt I have about this particular essay. Yeah. And then I'll take about 2-3 days and I'll get back to you with an answer to your question. So calls will be set up, there's that minimum separation between these two calls. But outside of that, you can always ask me questions, right? I mean, you want a call to get a question answered. So instead of getting on a call to get a question answered, I would say just ask me the question directly. And then I'll be able to answer much quicker. And then, you're also happy, I'm also happy, and everybody's happy.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. So what I'm going to request people to do is, if we've had a one-to-one call already, well and good. If not, we charge 2,000 rupees for a one-to-one call. And then, when you sign up, we'll subtract that from the package amount, right? So it's something that we are going to subtract anyway. So please sign up for a one-to-one call. Let's have an extensive discussion. It'll be for 30 minutes. It'll be a personal one-to-one interact. So, we'll be able to gauge how well we are able to interact with each other. I think that's the primary purpose of the call. This whole thing is built on chemistry. So, am I able to get your personality well? Are you able to get my personality well? We need to be able to judge that. So the one-to-one call will be useful for that. And then, we can take it forward from there. Whichever package you will choose to sign up or not sign up, that is entirely your prerogative. And we will not, force you to do one thing or the other. You tell me what you want to do, and then we'll proceed as you want. Since this conversation is also being hosted on YouTube, just for people who watch it at a later point. At some point over the next 3 months, we will be separating this into chapters, right? So this video will be separated into chapters, each with different topics. So, we would have answered different questions. Like Santosh, I think, was asking questions about how do you build a profile for the future? Of course, I didn't give him a very clear answer to that because I asked him to reach out again after Jan 15. But, that was one question that we discussed. So there are some goalpost questions, right? Some of the most important questions, maybe like some 7 or 8 questions would have been discussed today. So we will extract that from the conversation and then we'll make chapters around those questions. And anybody who's watching this on YouTube at a later point in time can just click on those questions and get to that part of our conversation so that, you can save yourself some time and then just watch whatever is most relevant to you. Something I have to do. We are a small company and, we are using YouTube for our marketing as well. Typically what happens as per YouTube algorithm is the more likes and shares as it has and the subscribes that our channel gets as well. Please help us out a little bit by boosting it, like, share, and subscribe. Right? If there's any other questions, guys, please help.